What's up, family? Gerald the Bossman here. You're tuned into the Bossman Show on AM 1010, AM 1430, 1055 The King. Let the King out at 105theking.com and the Bossman Show at bossmanshow.com. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bossman Show, Twitter at Bossman Show, and Facebook, Bossman Show. It's the Bossman on your radio.
Listen to the Bossman Show with your host, JR, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on AM 1010, The King.
What's up, good people? BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. The latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use your promo code BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Yes, BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV, covering content and hot topics from A to Z, sports, music, society and culture, movie reviews, you name it, we have it. Check it out on bs3network.com or check us out on Roku, BS3 TV on Roku, as well as check out your favorite podcast on all podcast platforms or Spreaker.com/BS3 Network.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Episode 6, Patrick Gayle Show, closing out the year strong as we can. The hottest show on the streets. Everybody's talking about the Patrick Gayle Show. Gets one of a kind with JR and Coach Gayle. You see the man himself in his all with the Golden Rams quarter zip as always. The Coach Patrick Gayle. What's up, Coach?
What's going on, JR? Happy holidays to you and your family.
Same to you, Coach. Everything's good, man. Closing this year strong, getting ready for a strong 24 campaign with new segments coming, new shows coming, and some other ideas I don't want to share on the air quite yet for the haters.
keep your good ideas to yourself, JR. Don't let it out. Don't let it out till it's ready to come out.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach, we ain't talked since the big win against FAMU. Tell me about that win at FAMU. And I know it didn't count for the standings per se, but it's good. You went to Tallahassee when they bought you, and you went in there and got the W.
Yeah, it was a really big win, for our program. Our guys, they persevered through a lot of adversity. It was a double overtime win on the road, and FAMU's a good team. Don't get it twisted. They're pretty good, and I'm sure they're gonna compete, in the SWAC, but it was a big win for us, big win for our program. We would have liked to have followed it up with some other big wins, but, I was proud of the guys, and I'm proud of the way that they have handled adversity this season.
Yeah, because, folks, I'm going to tell you something. Coach Gayle's team has been shorthanded. They played tight every game, but when you're shorthanded, playing hard as Coach Gayle demands that you play, you run out of gas. Listen, I must be honest about not to make excuses for it. The guys run out of gas in the second half. They play hard, then the lack of depth and lack of guys he can go to bites him in the butt, and they start fouling, getting beat on dribble like that. Shots don't fall, they fall short. So they are competing like heck, but they've been shorthanded. So understand. You look at the scores, you can tell they were shorthanded and they ran out of gas.
Yeah, JR. I mean, we don't like to make excuses, and the bottom line is I like to give credit to those teams that have beaten us. You know, we've played some really, really good teams, although we played, at home for the most part. But you're right. We've been hit with a lot of adversity, but the bottom line is, JR, nobody cares. It's another coach will say, well, shoot, we got problems too. Nobody want to hear about that. It's either you win or you lose. At this level, it's a production, business. So we're happy that we went into the break with a big win. We needed that win. It was a conference win, big win. We're 500 in conference, and we've got work to do. And there's a lot of teams, above us that are rolling. So no one's gonna feel sorry for us, Jr. You know how it goes, man. They are very happy that we're in the position we're in, and like for us to stay that way. So we've got to just close in the reins and get going and start a winning streak, which we did start going into the break.
Yeah, and coach, well, you kind of have a nice little setup here. You're only playing 2 games in about 2 weeks, so you got time to kind of work on some things, self scout, get guys better, get guys healthy, get guys integrated in the system. So, no, it's not like you said, you got to win going to the main break, but you got some time here really to set yourself up for a strong January through February to get this thing right with the SIC tournament. So, setting up good for you, actually.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're absolutely right. And the best thing about it is no class. No class, so we could get guys in the gym, and we've got some guys that have improved, and we got some guys that haven't played, early in the season that are now having to be thrust into the lineup and play some minutes. So, this is a great, next couple of weeks to like you said, get some guys healthy, self scout, which we do daily, and make some guys, understand their roles, and get some guys that, have been, comfortable in their roles to really, really embrace, how important it is for them to do what they do for us. But I do believe that we do have the depth once everybody's healthy to make a run. And, the problem is we're going now to play the East Division, and the East is loaded this year. So we're up for the task, and we're excited for the challenge.
Yes, I know you're coming to Clark and Morehouse eventually here, so we will be out there in our gear. Wait,
Yeah,
do a live show.
I gotta take care of you, JR. I gotta take care of you. Don't worry. Christmas will be coming soon. For you, the JR household. But now we're looking, forward to those games. But you know me, I'm not looking ahead. Right now we've got Clayton State coming up, and I know Clayton State is excited. Great coaching staff there, so it's going to be a challenge to play them at home this weekend.
And coach, who are some guys you want to highlight over his first 12 games of the season that who has really gotten better for you? You really are surprised by their growth so far in this early part of the season right now.
Well, the first guy is Shakur Poteet. He had, I believe it was 31 against FAMU in that win. And Shakur, he's a great story. He started out at Bethune-Cookman. He's from Orlando, Florida. Started out at Bethune-Cookman and didn't play the last year and a half, but was still in school and wanted to come to Albany State. Has been contacting my assistant coach for a minute, and we gave him an opportunity, and he's taken full advantage of the opportunity. Great leader, great floor general. I'm excited about what he can be. Has not scratched the surface on how good he can be, but he has shown flashes, and it's all about consistency, JR, at this level. So he's developing that, and I'm excited about what he's going to do, not just in the rest of the season, but for the rest of his career. And then I also got to shout out another Orlando kid, Andy Antoine. There's been a lot of people based on what he did last year that kind of have doubted what he can do for us, and I'm glad he stepped up. He's played really well for us. He played actually pretty well against FAMU. He had 3 blocks in that game, so I'm happy to see his growth. And the thing that I love about both those guys is that they're both high GPA guys. I believe Shakur had a 3.6 this past semester. Andy has always been on the all academic conference team since he's been here. So, to me, I think his GPA actually went a little down to like a 3.4, 3.5. So, Andy's a really good student. Shakur's a really good student. And they display that on the court. They're very, very intelligent. They have high basketball IQ. So I'm excited about those two.
No doubt. And coach, like you said, man, having to play guys that you really didn't plan on playing yet, it's gonna give you extra depth going, like you said, going forward, because that's very important. Sometimes you don't know what you have in a guy, so you throw him out there and see what he can do. And sometimes they clips from on the court. You might say it practice, but sometimes like, okay, throw him out there and see, and he gives you more than you thought he could give. Then he gets himself a role, but keep doing it, be consistent, like I always like you say as well. Like about that piece of it, saying that young men who go practice every day, work hard, and see them on the court, and really surprise you with Coach AD.
Well, you know what, JR? I'm glad you said that. So I'm going to highlight a freshman from Americus, Georgia. His name is Cameron Evans, and Cameron stays in the gym. Cameron stays in my assistant's office. He's one of those young men that when I get on the team and you got grad transfers and seniors that don't want to be around me because it's kind of rough, and when you go through a losing streak, it's not going to be pretty. He's one of the guys that's not afraid to be around. And Cameron got his first start against Kentucky State going into the break. Was perfect from the field in the first half, finished with 15 points. So that's just a testament of staying with it, working at it. He did not make a lot of shots, although he was working on it and was in the gym. They just didn't fall. And he just saw the first one go in against Kentucky State and was perfect from the field in the first half and played really well. But I was happy for him because he stays in the gym and he stays around us trying to get better, always watching film with, my assistant coach, Coach White, always asking, what can I do, to get better and to help the team. So I was proud of him. And you know what? Sometimes going through that and seeing that in a kid is better than, being perfect or peaking, early. It's a long season. We're the only 2-semester sport. So a lot of things can happen in the second semester that you don't foresee on and off the court. So it's great to see a kid continue to work at it. It helps the team, have confidence because, let's say you're not playing and you see a freshman that gets his first start and takes advantage of it, it's going to make you motivated. Let's say you're a senior and you see a freshman that's like, whoa, he's got that in him. Well, I've seen it in practice, but finally we see it in the game. That makes, have that much confidence. And at this time of year, JR, the team's got to coach itself, man. They've got to be, you actually get more work done outside of practice if you're a winning team. And I know a lot of teams that are winning are doing that, especially with the main guys. So it's great to see kids on their own kind of work and develop. And coaches get a lot of credit, but I like to give a lot of credit to our student athletes that actually work at it on their own.
No doubt, because you have to go out there on your own, because we know how the rules are, and you got a certain time limit. You have to
Correct.
do what you get. You can't just get better in those 2 hours or whatever you have to practice. So you got to do it on your own. And like for me, it was shooting 300 shots a day, 100 free throws a day, doing a 30 minutes of slides. So those things are trying to stay better. Like I told y'all once before, my handle wasn't. I ain't had time. I was a football dude, but I can shoot and defend, and I knew that they'll keep me on the court. I knew that. I had to be the off the bounce guy. I can still pump fake, get by you, but I ain't got all that.
You don't need that, man. At this level, man, I tell my guys all the time, nobody's trying to come see that, and that's the thing. When kids work out, you got to make sure they're not doing all of that. What you just said. Can you dribble, pass, and shoot? Can you execute, your options in the offense? Do you even know your options in the offense for you to score, for you to get an assist, for you to set up another guy? And that's the biggest thing. And, that's what I want to highlight at this level. You have to know where you are and where you fit in the defense and the offense. You have to know what your coaching staff is not just wanting you to do, but wanting the whole team to do and execute that. And that's very hard, for a lot of young players. I watched a lot of high school games, and I was very impressed with a lot of high school teams that I saw. And that's a testament to the coaching, to the high school coaching, I must say. And I saw teams from Georgia and Florida, and even up as far as New York and Texas, And there's a lot of great high school coaching out there. I have to give it up to all the high school coaches out there.
And coach, I must tell you, man, I, I watched some games as well, and I was trying to tell these young men, I said, hey, I know your coach Pop told you stand in a spot, but a 45 cut or a random cut here or there to the open spot in the zone, or they're loading up over to the one side of the floor, just flash, get you a quick little mid range. I know that the analytics kind of kill the mid range game or just flashing and cutting, but hey, I don't the game is space now, but hey, that still works.
Yeah.
I wish a lot of young men wouldn't get stuck in this. We're gonna stand, put you in the corner, you on the wing, and you here and you there, and really we can still play the game the right way and random cut, flash cut, back pick, run action on the second side, try to get open shots. I just hey, we're gonna run a middle ball screen or a side ball screen and pray to God we can get put on the right action.
Well, what's funny, Jr. We were watching. I want to say the Lakers and the Celtics yesterday with my young sons, and now they're into basketball. And it's funny. NBA 2K actually got them into basketball. Now they watch games. They love Steph Curry, they love LeBron James, and my son that's young was like, Daddy, was I born when LeBron was playing for the Miami Heat? I was like, first of all, how do you even know that? Then I thought, oh yeah, that's right, NBA 2K, because they have those vintage teams. But I bring that up because that's exactly what made Miami so great with Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Bosh. Is they first of all, they were a really good transition team, but their half court offense was based on a lot of those 45-degree cuts, those baseline cuts. Of course, they had shooters, and Ray Allen and Battier and those guys, but they did a great job playing off each other. And I don't think people realize how high a basketball IQ that team had, because there weren't a lot of ball screens. It was a lot of reading, because those three guys could get their shot anytime they wanted. And Chris Bosh kind of moved his position on the floor to more of a perimeter, not just offensively but defensively. And that's one of the best teams I've seen defensively, and one of the best teams I've seen offensively, in how they played off of each other. And I think you only get that from playing. You can sit down and watch games all you want, but if you're not playing basketball and playing the right way, playing that way, you won't understand that. So that's a great point to bring up, JR.
In mind, Miami Heat are one of the few teams who actually helps off the strong side three, which is
Yeah.
rare.
Yeah, that is rare. That is rare. That is very rare. But when you have athletes, when you have interchangeable parts in athletes, you can do that. It's all about recovering, and that's another thing. I teach my guys to read closeouts, and that's when you have in our conference, we have athletes. So you better read that closeout quickly. You think you have an open spot, and guys will block your 3-point attempt. So that's another thing that kids have to learn, how to read closeouts. And again, you can't learn that playing against guys at your level, or guys the same athletes as you. You got to play against better athletes. You got to play against longer, better defenders to learn that. And at the college level, and even at the pro level, that's what the game is all about. Can you get your shot off? Can you make the right reads in split-second decisions?
And that was something that my pop drilled me, Coach Gayle, was he did drill me this called quick shoot, pretty much getting get locked loaded quick. So when the ball came to me, I made up my mind was going to shoot. I was going to give you a hard pump and go, or do what I was going to do with it, or pass the screen away. I determined that based on what I saw. But if I had an opportunity, I was going for that 3-pointer.
but to have that quick release, it's all about your legs, and that's one of the things that the players I just
Football
mentioned.
helped with that too. Football helped with that too.
Yes. Football. Another sport that helps with footwork is soccer, especially with post players. So anything that activates your lower body and your fast switch muscles, and also activates kind of your upper body and then your split decision making. All of those that you can incorporate. I stress to parents of high school and middle school and junior high children to get them to play as many sports as possible. Don't just keep them to one sport.
No doubt, because like I said, for me it was basketball, football, baseball, tennis, and track and bowling. So I
Yep.
was using different things to make me in the slot, maybe I was slot receivers. Like I can, fast twitch and get off release, get off jams because my footwork and use my hands too, and our coordination and try to twist and catch the ball when you don't see it coming sometimes. You got to really have that. So it all works itself out when you, because I feel like coach, even though you see this as well, too many kids already are specialized already.
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
they're
and
basketball, football, baseball, whatever, not getting a chance to play cross train per se.
and you got to cross train your brain. I mean, you also, I stress when I was a teacher in middle school, I would stress kids learning chess, learning, different musical instruments, learning different languages. Even as adults, we need to do that. I was just telling myself that, that's something that I'm going to start doing, and pick back up just because, your brain's like any other muscle in your body. If you don't use parts of it, you don't want it to just sit there and atrophy. So, those different sports to use and activate different parts of your body. And then also is just as important to activate different parts of your brain. That's what makes kind of the holistic athlete.
No doubt, coach. It's really, really beautiful that you say that, man, because that's something that we believe in and we preach in. And so, coach, for you, man, how was your holiday season? How has it been to kind of be around the family and kind of reset yourself as well, man?
It's been awesome, man. I've purposely kind of, for the year, I put a lot of time, into, what I do. So, for the few days, it seems like it's a big deal, but it's not. For the few days, I really wanted to spend time with family, and it's cool getting to know your kids and your children, just kind of be in their world, and we as people at work, we spend a lot of time at work and we don't spend enough time, with our children. So it's awesome just to do that. It puts everything in perspective. Don't get me wrong, that's why I work. So, at the end of the day, some of their Christmas gifts is they've been getting it all year. The lights, the house, food in the fridge. That ain't easy, especially in this crazy world. But it's great to just see my children grow and just be in their world. So that I wouldn't trade that for anything. So shout out to my children. Youngest Asael, he's 6. Solomon, he just had a birthday, he's 9. Asaya's 10. And Sanai, she's in college right now. She's about to be 19 next month. And my wife Sharita, she holds it down for everybody. So shout out to all the families and to all those that have lost loved ones. I'm in a situation where my mom's birthday is December 23rd, and she hasn't been here on earth for a while now. So you never get used to it. It's always a little weird. And then I lost my father, a few years ago. So at this time, a lot of people are going through it and they keep it inside. So, definitely prayers to anyone that has, lost a loved one. We just had, a death in the Albany State family with a couple of people of, losing loved ones. So definitely prayers go out to them as well.
No doubt with Coach Gayle, we're gonna keep those prayers up, and we're gonna pray for you this weekend, and we're gonna claim it now that you will defeat Clayton State at the Albany West Campus gym over there.
We missed that, JR. I mean, man, we haven't done a show and then we start losing games. So thank you, JR. Now I can get back to the good graces, man. I appreciate that, man. Where you
Yes,
been
now,
at, man? Where
and
you
Coach,
been
I've
at?
been good, Coach. I've been living well and good, Coach. I've been doing the right things, Coach. So it's
You've
gonna
been doing
work.
the right thing. You know what? God bless you. God bless you, Jr. Nah, I'm sure you have, and I mean, I'm happy that we're back, man. I've missed it, and this has been fun, man. I really appreciate you. I say it every show, so I can't go without saying it again. I really appreciate what you do for us in our program for our student athletes.
Anytime, Coach, and we'll be back next Tuesday, same bad time. Coach Patrick Gayle show, hopefully with a great report after we plan his victory here. And we're going to get ready for that Miles game after that, man, and keep this thing train going, Coach.
Got to get this winning streak going. So we got to get to work.
Yes, sir, folks. It's the Patrick Gayle Show. Check us out next week. We out.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.
Yes, BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV, covering content and hot topics from A to Z. Sports, music, society and culture, movie reviews. You name it, we have it. Check it out on bs3network.com or check us out on Roku, BS3 TV on Roku, as well as check out your favorite podcast on all podcast platforms or Spreaker.com/BS3 Network.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
What's up, good people? BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. The latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use your promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online where the game starts. What's up, family? Jared the Bossman here. You're tuned into the Bossman Show on AM 1010, AM 1430, 1055 The King. Let the King out at 105theking.com and the Bossman Show at bossmanshow.com. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bossman Show, Twitter at Bossman Show, and Facebook, Bossman Show. It's the Bossman on your radio.
Listen to the Bossman Show with your host, JR, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on AM 1010, The King.